The 16th century was a time of significant religious upheaval in Europe. The Protestant Reformation, led by figures like Martin Luther, sought to challenge the authority of the Catholic Church. In response, the Catholic Church launched its own movement, the Counter-Reformation. Together, these events reshaped the religious, political, and cultural landscape of Europe. Origins of the Protestant Reformation. The Protestant Reformation began in 1517 when Martin Luther, a German monk, published his 95 Theses. He criticized the Catholic Church for practices like the selling of indulgences and its vast wealth. Luther's ideas quickly spread across Europe, thanks in part to the printing press. He advocated for a return to biblical teachings and believed that salvation could be achieved through faith alone, rather than through the Church's sacraments. Spread of Protestantism. Luther's challenge to the Catholic Church sparked a broader movement. In Switzerland, John Calvin became a leading figure, promoting a strict form of Protestantism known as Calvinism. In England, King Henry I broke away from the Catholic Church, establishing the Church of England after a dispute with the Pope over his divorce. By the mid-16th century, Protestantism had spread to large parts of Germany, Scandinavia, and England, creating deep divisions within Christendom. Catholic response. The Counter-Reformation. The Catholic Church responded to the Reformation with a movement of its own, the Counter-Reformation. This effort was initiated in part at the Council of Trent, which met between 1545 and 1563. The council reaffirmed traditional Catholic beliefs, such as the importance of the sacraments and the authority of the Pope, while also addressing some of the abuses that had sparked the Reformation, including the sale of indulgences. The Church sought to strengthen its influence by clarifying doctrine, improving clerical education, and promoting spiritual renewal. Role of the Jesuits. One of the key forces behind the Counter-Reformation was the Society of Jesus, or the Jesuits, founded by Ignatius of Loyola in 1540. The Jesuits became the Catholic Church's most effective missionaries, spreading Catholicism across Europe and the wider world. They played a significant role in revitalizing the Church's educational system, establishing schools and universities, and converting people in newly colonized regions like the Americas and Asia. Religious conflicts and wars. The Reformation and Counter-Reformation led to decades of religious conflict in Europe. In the Holy Roman Empire, the 30 Years' War, 1618–1648, became one of the deadliest conflicts in European history, involving Protestant and Catholic states. In France, the wars of religion pitted Catholics against Protestant Huguenots, culminating in events like the St. Bartholomew's Day Massacre. These religious wars reflected the deep divisions between Catholics and Protestants, and many nations were torn apart by violence and persecution. Long-term impact. The Reformation and Counter-Reformation had long-lasting effects on Europe. Protestantism became firmly established in parts of Northern Europe, while Southern Europe remained largely Catholic. The religious divisions contributed to the formation of modern nation-states and altered the relationship between church and state. Culturally, the period saw a flourishing of religious art, literature, and music, as both Protestant and Catholic artists expressed their faith through creative works. The legacy of the Reformation continues to shape the religious and political landscape of the world today. The Reformation and Counter-Reformation were defining moments in the history of Christianity. These movements not only changed the religious practices of millions of people, but also influenced the politics, culture, and intellectual life of Europe. The 16th century remains a pivotal time when Europe's religious map was redrawn, leading to conflicts, reforms, and, ultimately, a new religious landscape